Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Challengers of the New World Season 1. This is game number 4 in a best of 15 series between Aizamk and Umeu, where every civilization has to be played. Or at least for this first season, every vanilla civilization has to be played. And in future seasons, we can think about adding the Asian dynasties and war chiefs. But for now, just the original 8. And that is something that I have said almost word for word perfectly in almost every other video that I have made for this event. And here is something else that I've said almost word for word perfectly. The format of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, here he goes again, talking about the format of this event. The format of this event is essentially first to 8 wins, because that is by definition what a best of 15 is. And there are 8 different vanilla civilizations they have to play with. That is 1 win with each different vanilla civilization, and is indeed what they must achieve. 1 win against their opponent with each different vanilla civilization. And on screen right now, or maybe you've already seen it, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, there will be a scoreboard showing which civilizations they have won. And the ones they've won with have ticks over, they no longer need to play those, and once they have ticked off every civilization, they win. And here we see Umeu going in for a drift of terrapin worth 90 food, a really nice treasure indeed, especially for Ottoman. They already age up really, really quickly, and that is just going to boost the speed of his age up even further. And it is not often that Ottoman will be able to pick up a treasure like that, because Ottoman, they spend a very large amount of time building a trading post, about a minute, and that is by no means a disadvantage, absolutely not. And here we see a settler. He's very hungry, walking into the blackness, trying to look for some food. Fortunately, he comes across some elk here, going to shoot these back towards his town. His explorer being very lazy, not scouting at all, and that is because he's going for a 40 food treasure as well. 2 food treasures really early on in this game. Undeniably, one of them is a lot larger than the other, but still, two food treasures going to help him rocket up to the next stage. Absolutely ridiculous. It is not often that you will find that much food as Ottoman, for the exact reason that you have to build a trading post. Well, you don't have to, but you definitely will, because you start with enough wood to do so, and what else are you going to spend that wood on, right? So, a trading post, and then you have to look around the map for hunts. In this particular game, you used a settler, but you won't always do that, because it is, not always quite likely that you'll find a hunt, and you'll end up wasting a bunch of gather time. But here, Umeu taking that risk and it paying off. And then, once the explorer has built the trading post and done the scouting, he is unlikely to find a big food treasure, and at that, unlikely to actually pick it up before he clicks the age up button, because once you click that age up button, food is not quite as useful. So, yes, being very lucky with those treasure finds there, and actually finding this hunt. Everything going perfectly for Umeu this game. Really, really nice. Let's switch over, though, to his opponent, because we've seen Umeu's entire Discovery Age agenda before we've even looked at our enemy. Well, the other guy. Anyway, Aizamk here in the east of the map, playing as the Portuguese, already halfway aged up. What is going on? What is going on? He's playing as the Portuguese. He clearly has not built anything in the Discovery Age here. Yeah, well, you start with a random economic building on this map, so don't tell me he built a livestock pen, because he didn't. Both of them start with 1 there. Yes, but, I think he's just left his crates on the floor. You can clearly see he has 10 population. He hasn't bothered to build a single house. Portuguese start with 7 settlers. He's trained 3 settlers. Just 3 settlers, and then went up to the fortress. Well, the colonial age. There's 3 settlers, and then nothing but food. This is really not standard gameplay, though it is, I suppose, slightly more viable with Portuguese. They don't have any Age 1 shipments that are worth sending. He actually hasn't even picked a deck yet. He's clearly not interested in sending anything Age 1 related. They don't have settler shipments. They don't even have a decent trickle card like Russia do. So, yeah, unfortunately for these guys, but the point is he's rushed up to the colonial. I suppose you can now send this 700 coin a little bit sooner than you normally would, and or you can send the other 700 resources sooner than you normally would. So it is perhaps slightly more viable. I still think, sacrificing the fact that he didn't train any settlers is really bad. But 700 coin here is going to give him the coin he needs to do a fast fortress, is normally what I'd normally say. It looks like he's going for a 10-10 agenda, which is where you don't, you have 10 population, 10 settlers, and you can either, well, rush normally is the thing with Portuguese. You get this forward town centre, and then you can send, say, 6 musketeers, 8 crossbowmen. I wouldn't say the 10-10 rush is particularly solid. It's very, very, very all in. But Aizamk comes up with this. I've seen him do a 10-10 fast fortress, and that is possibly more likely, but very unlikely at the same time, because he aged up with 400 wood. Normally you got 500 food, and that would give you all the food for the age up, or at least some of it. Here, though, yeah, And that's a very forward town centre for a fast fortress. What? He has a native trading post over here as well, trading Huron mantlets, which are 50 wood and 50 wood and 100 coin. They are, pretty strong. 25 ranged attack. They're very high siege damage and a huge ranged resist. This is very unexpected. He's also got a Cree settlement down in the bottom, now sending his second colonial shipment, native treaties. It's not quite as good on the Asian dynasties as it is on vanilla due to the fact that it gives you one less unit from each trading post that you own, but gonna get a very large amount of native units very early on. We'll switch over to Umeu and see what he's starting. Cavalry! This is not good for Aizamk at all, and you very rarely see Ottoman players starting cavalry because, well, they have Janissaries, very, very strong colonial age unit. Abbas guns, really, really ridiculously strong colonial age unit. Hussars, not one of Ottoman's strong units there, but starting with them anyway, and in this particular game, is going to absolutely tear through these Huron mantlets. They have 40% range resist, taking nothing but melee damage. This really doesn't look too good for Aizamk at all. He is now sending his Minutemen, forced to call Minutemen from this forward town centre here to actually defend this, and has, just a couple of settlers in the town centre that are doing extra damage as well. These cavalry are now going to run away, but yes, you don't really see Ottoman players going for cavalry. Like, I think what he's done here is, he's built a stable and a barracks. Let's take a look at the shipments he sent. We see over here it's 700 coin, probably would have been his first one. That 700 would now on the floor. So very much a Jan Abbas start, where instead of building an Abbas foundry, it's an artillery foundry, but it might as well be called an Abbas foundry if you're playing as Ottoman. Yes, the Abbas foundry is not an Abbas foundry in this game. It is a stable, and he's making hussars instead of Abbas guns, which in this particular game is very strong. He must have, I don't know, but just unlucky for Aizamk there, starting cavalry for whatever reason he chose to do. Let's switch back to Aizamk and see what he has. 6 musketeers, he's going to need them. He's going to need some anti-cavalry here, and I honestly can't work out, though, why Aizamk decided to do this. It's just, I can't see it being strong against Ottoman at all. Like, any Ottoman colonial agenda would absolutely ravage this. Here we see the musketeers coming forward into hand combat to try and scare off these hussars. Doing a good job there, scaring them away, and then, of course, going to walk back towards his town centre. Doesn't want to take any shots from those Janissaries. But even if he did start Abbas guns, Abbas their ranged attack deals siege damage, and Huron mantlets have a 40% ranged resist. They do not resist 40% of siege damage, therefore they will take full damage from the Abbas guns and will get absolutely torn down, and that is just like any Abbas or Hussar, which one of the two is going to be trained, would be strong against this. I can't see what he's doing. Going to go into hand combat with those there. Running away again, very nice, actually. As soon as the Hussars come off him, he doesn't want to take damage from the Musketeers, which have 13 times 3. He's going to walk back towards, away from his opponent's Janissaries, which are going to deal damage here. Perhaps going to do it again. Actually, no, getting lured in towards the Janissaries this time. Going to lose all of those Musketeers. Really not good, because he does not, at this point in time, I believe, have a barracks from which to train. Now adding one in to train more anti-cavalry, and all of his investment into this very fast native rush is going to go down. All of these are essentially counter infantry. The only way I can see this being viable, what Aizamk has done, is Huron mantlets have a really strong siege damage. This would be very, very good if his opponent decided to fast fortress. Let's switch over to Umeu, and that is, of course, something that Ottoman can do. It is one of the strongest strategies that Ottoman has, and it's indeed one of my favourites, since I'm very much a Fortress Age player. But, if he tries to go up to Fortress, yeah, Ottoman hit up at 7 minutes, but Huron mantlets, that many of them, that early on, would probably be able to do a lot of siege damage to its infrastructure, or possibly even bring down the town centre before he's even aged. So I think here Aizamk's really, really relying on the fact that his opponent would go up with a fast fortress, and he would have absolutely wrecked him, I think. But did not, that is very gimmicky indeed, and not paying off for him in any way, shape or form. This is absolutely ridiculous what he has done here, and I am not very happy with him at all. I will be having words after I have casted this. Here we see losing the game. His 10-10 fast fortress is strong. It would be, the Cassadors you get out, you get them very quickly. It's not good due to the fact that you do not have that much economy, but you get 6 Cassadors from aging up. You've got an 8 Cassador shipment. That would be very, very solid against, against Janissaries. I believe Cassadors have more range than skirmishers. You could actually outrange Abbas guns as well. Cassador's very strong unit. especially on vanilla, where they have a 60% ranged resist, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But that is not the case. I was kind of hoping to see some sort of 10-10 fast rush, or a fast fortress, or perhaps some sort of Bonang style water over, you know, the Saguenay fish, which is perfectly viable, I suppose, as well. Though perhaps not so much, since Ottoman can be very strong at rushing and applying the colonial pressure. But here, I must say, a very interesting game, but at the same time, a not very interesting game. That concludes game number 4. Aizamk, what are you doing? Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will join you. I think because this game was so short, I will upload either game number 5 or some other kind of video tomorrow. At the moment, I'm trying to upload a video every other day, but I think since this was so short, I'll upload an extra one. So, yes, we have that. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, remember to give it a like. I do appreciate that every single time. And I will see you next time.